It's all Dale's fault. And hello. Happy Tuesday. Dale Flippin' Fiasco is in the house. I am happy to see her here. That was me. I was having internet issues and I got it fixed. I hope. So we are Cat the Nurse Flipper. That is Rod, my co-host, picking and punching. Below me, two guests that have both been on before. Directly below me is Miss Katherine Young, and Catty Corner is Scot Chachingking. So it's all your fault, Dale. I'm going to make Katherine and Scot big, let them introduce themselves. I did see Scot just hit 60,000 subscribers, so congratulations.
Dang.
Or very recent. That is amazing. He's going to pass me soon. That's what I'm seeing.
I don't think so.
Copy and Julian. All right. Let me make Katherine big. They do. They're matchy-matchy. I almost feel like we should put Scot in the hot seat.
There we go. Yeah.
That evens it out.
Yes. Yep.
Do you guys agree? I was going to be nice and let him skip the hot seat, but I feel like they should be Catty Corner. Do you guys agree?
The balance visually makes me happy.
Yeah.
I think so too. I do. Yes, agreed. Okay, Scot, you're first now. So, surprise. Here's Scot, everybody.
I'm Scot, also known as Chachingking, and I have never been on Cat's show and not been in the hot seat, so I'm not sure what to make of that. So, but everything's going great. And if you don't know us, Melody and my wife and I sell on eBay and do YouTube for fun, I guess. And that's it.
For fun, he guesses. All right, here's Katherine. He thought he was free of the hot seat, and then now he's not.
Well, that's what you get when you have fancy lighting. So, hi, my name is Katherine Young. My channel is the exact same name. I do reselling as a side business. I do work full-time for a school district. I have been selling on eBay about a decade, but I really picked it up more when the shutdown happened and a lot of my retainer clients disappeared. And so things have just been rolling since then. My main selling platforms are live sales on YouTube. In fact, I have one this Friday. I also do eBay and I have an antique booth, and I specialize in vintage.
Perfect. All right. Let's get to some questions. I see you too, Jeff. Scot, you're very popular.
I don't
We're
know.
going to
They need to tell Melody.
It's kind of a big deal around here.
All right. Sapphire says, I sent the wrong item to a buyer on Poshmark by accident. Poshmark sent us both free labels for them to return it and for me to send the right item. I sent the right item, but they never sent back the wrong item, despite me requesting it back. So my question is it on me to send the correct item, even if they don't send the wrong item back? And should I be chill with this?
If you've already sent the correct item, I would reach out to Poshmark and see what they tell you to do. You know, it's one of those kind of things. Poshmark customer service is really hard to get a hold of. So you may not have a ton of different options, but yeah, I don't know. The only time I've ever shipped the wrong thing to two different people, they were both like, we got this. And they just shipped it to each other. And so I dealt with honest people for my mistake. So hopefully they'll get it to you.
And I've had a customer do that before. They claimed, I didn't buy this item, but I'd already shipped it to them. I just kind of called it a loss and gave up. It wasn't worth dealing with them. They were like trying to get it for free, and I just called it a loss.
Yeah, so not sure how Poshmark handles that. I've never had that happen on Poshmark. I've had shipped out the wrong items on eBay and on Whatnot. Literally just did that last week or 2 weeks ago on Whatnot, and I shipped both buyers new labels, and they were cool. And they shipped it to each person, so which is nice. So I was very fortunate, very lucky. And then I made sure to take care of one of the buyers. I sent her some additional Disney pins and stuff, little freebies for being real cool about things. But I would say at the end of the day, you're going to chalk it up as a loss. Hopefully, the item that you accidentally shipped out wasn't very expensive. I know on eBay, we're not supposed to give a refund and do anything until you receive the item back before, maybe shipping out the new item. But I don't know how Poshmark handles that.
Yeah, and I've never done that on Poshmark either, so I really haven't been in this situation. I would wonder what Rod said too, like what is their policy? Are you supposed? So she mixed up similar Apple paperweight, she's saying.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe if anybody in the audience knows, is Poshmark's policy that you just both send it at the same time? Oh, you wait to receive or Poshmark should cover. So it looks like you probably should have waited to get the other item back, maybe. It kind of sucks because I would just assume that they're gonna send it back. That's what I would do. I probably would have just shipped it out like you did. So at this point, I would probably count it as a loss. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but if I send the wrong item to somebody and I have the right item in my possession, I do send it out. Like on eBay, I send out the right one before I get the wrong one back. I don't wait. So I would have done that. And then if they don't send it back, I would unfortunately count it as a loss, which sucks, but yeah. This is a perfect one for Scott. How am I to know what is prohibited to sell? I follow others.
So, and I've posted about it before. Here's the problem. Like a lot of us can tell you that you can't sell Beachbody and you can't use the word Velcro and you can't use the word onesie. But as far as what's prohibited to sell, like it's a moving target and a company can claim it even if they're not normally aggressive towards Veros and things like that. I got one for Mack Trucks once for a vintage hat and they were like, you can't sell that. It's counterfeit. I was like, it's not. It's silly. But so there is no comprehensive list available. And it's not because people won't share it. It's because it's not that easy. Like you can use Harley Davidson all you want, but you can't list something as Harley Davidson because it has a Harley Davidson patch, but it's not a Harley Davidson shirt. So it can be kind of tricky.
I'm going to pass on this one because mainly I sell on YouTube and nobody's telling me what I can and can't.
That's how you get around it. You sell on YouTube.
So, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but it's your responsibility to know what's prohibited to sell on eBay. Because I mean, it is your business, and just like anything else, like it is something we need to study and learn. There is actually a Vero page that you can go on and actually list all the. Yeah, I know. Don't do that. But there's a page on there.
They will never sell. They would be so scared they would never list one item if they go look at that page.
Here's the thing. So, and when I say that, it is your responsibility to know this because it is your account. But at the same point in time is you will get one of these, just a slap on the wrist. If you do sell something that is prohibited, they're going to take it down, and nothing's bad's going to happen at that point in time. Now that does happen. Don't go and relist it. But a lot of us over the years learn by trial and error. It's more or less, what we sell on eBay, we get popped for it. I mean, there's items I've sold on eBay for years, and then one day they just randomly take it down. You know what I mean? Or there's times I've listed a couple weeks ago, I listed a Nike windbreaker, and literally within 5 minutes of being up, it was taken down saying that this item is counterfeit. Which there's no possible way there's someone looking at newly listed items like that. So that tells me the AI in there is going through
the algorithm. Yeah.
The algorithm, something triggered it on my listing. I mean, I'm almost 100% positive that came from the store, but I mean, I'm not going to relist at that point in time. You just got to move on. So I would say look for the big ones. If you go on YouTube, you just type in like prohibited items and don't sell this on eBay, you'll find a lot of items. They're going to give you general ones. And Scott just covered a lot of those on there. Monster's a big one, not to sell. Like Velcro's one.
I got a Vero on Mary Kay.
Yeah, Mary Kay. I mean, I've gotten Veros over the years, stuff like that. But then, and here's the most frustrating thing I would tell you guys, especially if you're new, you will get a Vero for putting an item up, and then you're going to go on eBay, and you're going to look, and there's going to be 150 listed. 150 listed and 100 sold, and you're going to be like, what the hell? Why is mine being taken down? And do not relist it, though. That's the only thing I tell you. Do not relist it, because that's how you get your account in trouble.
Yeah, so I got hit with Mary Kay, and I know like Kevin was and might still be selling Mary Kay. It's really weird. I think sometimes it might be competition. I had bought a ton of vintage Mary Kay, like discontinued out of stock, that was very popular. Somebody could have reported me. I ended up taking down all my listings, putting it in a lot on eBay, eBay, and auctioned it off. But I took down all my listings. They only Vero hit me on a few. And Kayla's asking, there is a Vero page. Yes, there is a Vero page, and it will show you every single name that you are selling. I bet you, almost.
I just put it in the chat, guys, so you guys can actually click on it. It goes in alphabetical order, but feel free to look.
But I want to tell you, a lot of them, if you read them, they'll say like they don't want you to claim it's new because they have a warranty if you buy it directly from them.
Yeah.
So you can sell their items. You can sell their items used. You just can't say that it's new unopened. You could list new open box, new other, but you can't list it as simply new. That's a lot of them. So you might see the name, but you can still sell it. And the time that it would take to go in there for every single brand and read their actual terms for the Vero would take you days, and you would be so scared to list anything, you would never list. That's why I said, don't open it. I do so Mace is saying you can't sell Texas license plates on eBay. I've sold hundreds with no problem.
You can't sell any that are 2 years old.
As long as they are over 2 years old. You can't sell them under 2 years old because somebody might go steal a car and put your license plate on it. As long as they're over 2 years old, you can sell them. I don't know of any exception for Texas. We sell hundreds of license plates.
What about
it
Facebook,
depends on how. You cannot sell ivory unless you have paperwork showing that it was imported before the 1940s, I believe. There is an exception to that, but you have to have paperwork and ownership history in order to do it. So thank you, dealer, saying Chanel gets flagged and taken down frequently. I had a Chanel box that was taken down. I knew was authentic, got taken down. You do. Like Rod said, the biggest thing, if they take it down, do not put it back up. I don't care. But I still had it listed on Poshmark and it sold for $350. So it didn't need to be listed on eBay. So that's another thing is like a lot of the Vero, like Poshmark's not as strict about it. Mercari's kind of weird about certain categories. I've had a few things taken down on Mercari.
Do you know the strictest of all the sites is? It's freaking Bonanza. I can't tell you
Really?
heavy items. So
it's
when
Kevin.
I know it's Kevin. Kevin owns it. It's what a hypocrite that guy is, though. But the thing is when because it automatically lists stuff on there. Like you can't list Redskins stuff on there. Like I just had all my like old vintage jerseys taken down. I had 59 items taken down from. Because every time you list something on eBay, it automatically crosses to Bonanza if you have a Bonanza account. And so, I had 59 items taken down. But because I guess they go through Google and then it gets them taken down. But
yeah, so the thing is, like Rod said, they're going to tell you one time and you're going to get a slap on the wrist. Pay attention to that warning, because if you get it a second time, it's probably going to be a 3-day suspension. If you get it a third, it's going to be a week, and then it's going to go to a month, and then you're not going to be allowed on eBay ever again. So, so just be like, and I mean, watching us will help, but the biggest thing is getting a warning. And if you're getting a warning on different things, they don't count it. It's like the same thing. So like I got Vero'd on Mary Kay twice, and I was like, oh crap. And I took down all my listings. But I got Vero'd on that Chanel item later, and that's not like a second ding on the Mary Kay because it's a different company. So just pay attention to the warnings. Common sense, like Rod was saying, Redskins, anything controversial, I would keep it off of eBay. Unfortunately, they're very, very strict about that. So be very careful with that as well. All right. Wendy wants to know, can you go over how to use best offers? She's not sure if she wants to try it. She's still a newbie.
So for me, turning on best offer, I think we turned it on like 3 years ago, and it was the best thing ever. Not just because I can look at offers, but every offer I get on the computer, I want to look at the feedback that buyer leaves other sellers. And I know that I have dodged a few bullets. And I'm not talking about somebody who's left negative, because some people deserve it. I'm talking about when you go look at the feedback they're leaving, and it is so obvious they use feedback like a weapon, that I don't want to do business with those people, and I don't want to find that out after I've shipped them something. So for that reason alone, I don't think I'll ever turn off best offer. And I don't put a minimum, because those people that make those super low ball offers are the same people who just are absolutely insane when it comes to feedback. So for me, feedback has been great, and it increased my sales, because if it's been super slow and Kat sends me a low ball offer on something, I may want that money today.
I only use it when I have an item that's sat for a long time. But usually I use eBay to move items that my YouTube audience isn't super interested in, or the price point is a little higher than what my YouTube audience is used to. So I don't use best offer like an across the board thing. It's more like when I want to move stock. And it's worked out for me so far. None of those weaponizing people, but I have definitely blocked some people, Scott. I know exactly who you're talking about.
So I put best offer on all my items, because one thing I learned a long time ago is I had a business model where I try to get the max amount of money for all my items, and I would get some of the highest sales in each category, but my items were very slow moving in my store at that point in time. And also I switched over to more of a method, because I was sourcing so much where I was like, I'd rather take 70 cents on the dollar and move have that money today than, maybe get 100% of that money, a month or two from now. And as my store expanded and got bigger and bigger, I realized that you have to make deals. I learned a long time ago, you have to make deals. You have to move stuff. It takes smaller percentages sometimes, just the fact, if not, you're just going to become a hoarder and literally just have an overabundance, because no one cares about how many items you have in your store. What you want is how many items you're selling. That's the biggest thing on here. But best offer is actually really good too, especially if you don't know the price of an item and you can't find comps as that one-off item. Anytime I have that, I like to list my items super high with a best offer on it and let the market dictate the price. So if I had an item that was super rare, I couldn't find any comps anywhere, may have found some similar items that were maybe selling for like $200, $700. Their price is over. I might list it for $99.99 and or like $1,000 best offer, and kind of see what happens, and maybe someone sends me an offer for 200, get a couple offers there. Okay, well now I know the market's gonna be down there. Or if you're getting a lot of offers right away or tons of watchers on there, you may have something very rare. So I like to use best offer on that, and then I'll over a couple weeks I'll take it down and then relist it at a lower price. But it's a good way just kind of test the market and kind of see that the market dictate the price for you.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that. And for us, like Scott said, if I'm having a slow day, I might take a lower offer too. I used to set the minimum on the offers I would get, so it would auto decline. I don't do that anymore, because what would happen is I had that item 2 years. So after 2 years, I'm willing to take a lot less, and I'm not going to remember to go back and change the minimum. So I recommend keeping that off as well, because over time, the minimum amount you're willing to take might very well change. And if you have that on, you're not seeing those offers and sending out offers, which you don't have to turn on. You just send them. All of this is also activity in your eBay store, and will help the algorithm for your items to get seen more. And you can decline it if it's a bad one. I had one today, and it was kind of funny. It was actually license plates that we were just talking about, not Texas ones. I had to go look. It was Michigan license plates. They sent me an offer of about half off, and normally my automatic instinct on a half off offer is to decline. In this case, I had them a while, so I countered them at the lowest I would take, which was 30% off. It was $31.50. I said, this is my absolute lowest. And I don't know if people think I'm kidding or they can't read. I don't know which one it is, but they still try and send me another lower offer. And at that point, I decline. I don't counter back with my lowest. I decline. So this guy tried 2 times, and I declined and declined. The third offer, I think he had one offer left. He sent me $31.50, and he said, okay, you win. and he gave me what I said my minimum was. And that has happened a lot where they try again, I decline, then they come back with what I told them. Like I said, I don't know if they don't read or they think I'm not serious or what, but I am when I say that, just in case you're the one sending me an offer. If I tell you that, I mean it. And then they sent me what I said was my lowest, and so they knew they had to try, I guess. And that one was funny earlier on the license plate. They're like, "Okay, you win," and gave in. But yeah. So
one thing I'd like to add to that is think of it this way: if I go to a garage sale and someone has something listed for $25, I might offer them $10 for it because I'm trying to get a good deal on it. Why? People do that on eBay all the time. Sometimes they're just trying to test the water. Also, I'll make a $10 offer, but I might pay 15 or 20 for that item at the garage sale. So don't get upset when people send you super lowball offers, because they may just trying to test the water, kind of see where your mindset is. And sometimes I'll send them a counter offer with a message, "Hey, I can't go that low, but I'm willing to work with you." And majority of the time, it does help out. It does work. So don't get angry or just automatically decline those lowball offers, because sometimes people are just trying to test the water.
I use Scot's message. Scot, tell everybody your message if they send you a really low offer.
I say, go buy stuff from Kat.
That's probably where all these people come from.
I normally have two different ones that I have prepared, and one of them is, this is as low as we are willing to go at this time. We may send out lower offers in the future. Thank you again for your offer. If it's already on sale, then it would say, thank you for your offer. This is as far below the sale price as we're going at this time. We may send out lower offers in the future. Thank you again. But having something prepared keeps me from being angry. Just because I have a standard response. Somebody asked in the chat how to check the buyer's feedback. So real simply, the buyer will have a number.
Do you want me to show them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's take a field trip. We'll see if I can figure it out. We should look up Scot's. Hold on. Let's look up Scot's.
Yeah.
How do I find it? I'll just show you mine. If you click, I don't think I've left anybody negative feedback. So if you click on the person's name and you click on feedback, this is not working for myself, I guess. Scot, help me.
Well, I don't know if anybody can help you.
Hold on. I don't know if there's help for me either, honestly. Hold on. I'm still looking. Okay, look, here's my guy. So you guys know. This is who I won against. So here's the feedback. See all feedback. And you watch. Now I didn't check this. I'm going to kick myself live right now is what's fixing to happen. You can click left for others. And then look. So you can scroll. So you click see all feedback and then left for others. And you can see this guy has left. See, so I was okay with giving him my low one. You could click 200 if you want and scroll. I will tell you the problem buyers. I see red.
Mm-hmm.
It's so obvious when you get somebody that, is really, truly a problem. If you just see a single red and it's like they never ship my item. If I see negatives for things that I know I'm never going to have a problem with, like we ship every day, we don't ship late. So, but if I see things like stinky or, just stuff that
this had a spot on a quarter of an inch of the fabric and the seller did not know.
But you'll see a bunch of them. The people that do this, like it's always
repetitive
discounts. You'll see like out of the 20, they'll have 4 or 5. And then you open 200 and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like high school all over again. And then I bet I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hold on. Okay. We'll get Jay right. And then we'll get Miss Betty. Miss Betty's right. They came in at the same. And then I see another one too. And Mace. Jake wants to know, who do you think would win in a bar fight between Archie and Mike?
Biscuit butt versus death pile picker. Who would win in a fight?
We should put it in. Okay, chat. Who would win?
Well,
Scot?
Me? I have no opinion because I can't whip anybody. Like whoever I pick would be like, I can take him. And I'm like, yeah, you probably can.
Okay, Rod.
All right. So Biscuit Butt is a lover, not a fighter. and Mike is in the Death Pile Picker is ex-military. So Death Pile Picker, hands down, wins.
There you go.
There you go.
What does he get, Kevin? Should we start the show
Oh,
off with
yeah,
the Kevin?
yeah.
Okay.
Kevin.
Here we go, Jake.
Catherine, just what you wanted to see this tonight, huh? Scott's face. I always say this. My favorite thing every week is when they put that on the screen and we have new guests on. I've never seen it before. I can watch everyone's face on the bottom screen backstage, and I
Lisa
see
said it's too early for that.
Yeah.
Like there's a good time for that.
Oh gosh. Okay, we have 2 new members. Mace joined and Miss Betty's Attic. If you guys don't know, I do store reviews. I did them early. I did them last Thursday. I was all hyped up trying to work, I guess, and I did them a week early. And we do sourcing every other Saturday. That is this Saturday. And then we do live shipping every other Monday, which is this coming Monday. It was not yesterday. So I appreciate you guys joining. This will not be Kevin's behind. This is a cute turtle. So don't worry. Here you go. You needed the calm after the Kevin. I know. All right. Let's see. Okay. And I this next question, I see a lot from new eBay sellers. So Lee Smith says, eBay said I could sell 250 items between June and July for no fees. I'm new to eBay, have a basic store, sold 2 things on auction today and tried to list an item, and eBay was going to charge me an insertion fee of 25 cents. So can we explain this?
Yeah. So what happens a lot of times when people think that they're getting an X number of listings, that isn't new listings. If you already have listings, those count against your monthly listings. And also auctions are different than buy it now listings. So without seeing it exactly, my gut says you probably have some items listed, the ones that you've sold and you've relisted, or listed new ones to take those place. All of that counts against your 250.
I'll pass. I only list a small amount on eBay. I'll never hit 250.
Yeah, so I would say I don't recommend new eBayers even get in a store until they hit the 250 mark, and then that way, you don't have to pay that monthly fee because you will have free listings. But yeah, just the auctions don't count as the actual listings. But I always tell people people ask me if you're new to eBay, make sure you like it first before you start paying for stores and stuff like that. And get your 250 listings, because if you're a small seller, you might not hit that for months or at all that year, or if you might hit that in a couple of weeks, and then you just upgrade your store as you need.
Yeah, so I want to clarify, the first thing is it's not you can sell 250 items. It's that you can list 250 items. So it doesn't matter how many you've sold, it's how many you list. And if you're allowed 250, that is, like Rod said, every time they renew. So people will think they can list 250 a month, and then they'll have 1,000 listed, and they're getting charged for 750 of those. It's 250 total. And every 30 days, your listing refreshes, and that counts as a new listing. Correct. So you've got to be very, very careful. I've seen people doing that, not wanting to pay for a store, and they're paying way more in fees than they would to actually get the store because they thought they could list 250 a month. It's 250, but that counts your ones that are refreshing every 30 days. So if you have listed, let's say you listed the 250, you sold 10 and you tried to list those 10 back, those are all going to be charged to you. And auction, Scott pointed out, auctions are not in there. You do get some free auction listings, but they're only in certain categories, and those don't count as your 250 listing. I would also say be careful if you are listing a lot of auctions. I just was talking about this in Death Pile Destruction. I will tell you guys 98 to 99% of things on eBay should not be on auction.
Right.
The only time you want to use an auction if it is in demand and it is rare, which is not 99% of things.
Or if you're just trying to move stuff super fast, like you just need to clear it and have it gone, you know.
And a lot of times those won't sell though if they're not in demand.
I agree.
They still won't sell because society right now wants stuff and they want it now. They don't want to wait 7 days for an auction to end unless, like Rod said, you're trying to move it so they're getting a really, really good deal. So they're getting it really cheap, or you have the only one of it and they have to wait. They don't have a choice. But the majority of things should not be listed. That looks just like my cat. I wonder if I have a picture of her. One of the 6 of them. Looks like one of them. We got another member, so we will do another turtle, and then we've got 3 super chats too. So let's get a turtle, and then we will go over our super chats, and we will do something that is not Kevin's behind. All right, here is the turtle again, and then we will get your super chats. And Gino is in the chat. He said I have good taste. He said that because he made that. So I always like to thank Gino because Gino makes my super chats. Miss Kelly sent a $4.99 super chat and said happy summer to everyone. It is hot as I don't know what would be politically correct to say in Florida. It is very hot. It is in the high 90s. It is hot here. It is very, very hot. And it's only June. We're nowhere near the hottest. And we have do you have flash flood warnings down there, Rod? We have flash flood warnings, I think tomorrow to Saturday here. So we're supposed to get a lot of rain. And I saw somebody in South Florida when they came on said it was really rainy there. So I think it just hasn't made its way to us yet, but I bet it's going to. So it's coming here, I know. And then Miss Judy said she has an incomplete set of sterling flatware. She can put 5 place settings together and there's a lot left over. Would it be better to try and sell the sets or piece all of it out?
You know, normally what I do, if it's sterling, I piece it out. Like I might do a place setting, but I wouldn't do all 5 together. I think that anybody buying all 5 together would be looking for a discount. And so if it's not something you mind selling over a period of time, I would probably, you know, do 1 place setting at a time. And if you have odds and ends, I'd sell those separately. Depends upon how desirable it is. Some flatware is really hot.
Yeah, I would piece it out as well to get the best price. I guess also, as Scott mentioned, what is your goal? Like if your goal is to get the best price, then absolutely piece it out. But if, you know, you want to do like a discount, like Scott said, then I would do a set of 4, not 5. I guess I would do the set of 4 and then piece the rest out.
Yeah, I would piece it out. Just like, you know, she was just saying, depending on what you're trying to do with it, best for your business. But if you're just trying to maximize your profit, it doesn't take up a lot of room. So items like that, you can literally you can store and not have to worry about it and then try to maximize your profit because sterling always sells. So.
Yeah, I'm with Scott. I'm going to check comps. Sometimes the sets will sell more than it does individually. That's rare. Most of the times individually. So you could list like your forks, your small spoons, your large spoons as a single and put quantity. And then they can order 4 or 5 or how many ever they want to order of them. And that is typically going to bring you the most money by piecing them out. And make sure if it's not like a highly regarded flatware brand, which that's going to bring more than melt value, I would add the weight of each of the pieces as well, because you might get scrap sterling buyers as well. So I would add weight to those as well. Hold on. I'm getting squirrel right now. I'm going to give you your super chat real quick and then we'll go on to the next one. What are we going to do? We will do the whale. This is my favorite one. another Gino creation. NS323 sent a $10 super chat and said, I've been watching forever and love this podcast. Thank you so much. Also hoping, okay, I'm glad you put this up here and you sent $10 so you can have the information early. I just posted, so we have 25 free months of List Perfectly for 25 of you. I just posted at the start of this show in Death Pile Destruction. I have partnered with them, so it's not just one we're giving away here. 25 of them. The link is in Death Pile Destruction. It is pinned to the top of the group. Go join our Facebook group. Marsha will throw, there she goes. See, she's on point. Marsha just put the link in the description, or in the, I can't even talk. I should just be quiet tonight. Marsha just put the link in the chat. Go there. It is not for existing users. Yeah, so I do one a month. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that one tonight. I can do one a month for existing users. So go there if you're a new user. And then if not, somebody remind me at 9 and I'll give away a free month of List Perfectly. All right. Let's do another super chat. Let's do the original super chat. Here you go. Super chat. Super chat. All right. Let's let all of us answer this. What do you consider rare? 10 or less listed, or what would be your definition of rare?
So if we're talking rare enough for me to auction it, there's been like 10 in the last several years listed. Like rare for me is like the demand is way up here and there is no supply. That's when I will get people bidding against each other. So rare for me is there's none listed.
Yeah, and rare for me is like all I can find is a worth point listing from 8+ years ago. I'm looking through vintage books to try to find the item because I really can't find it. That I would consider rare. When I sell items on YouTube Live, I almost never call something rare, even if it was like a one-off single made by a person. I usually just don't say it.
So rare is one of the most overused terms on eBay. I will tell you that. So don't go by when people say it's something rare. If there's less than 10 items listed on eBay, something could just have a super fast sell-through rate. So there might be 10 listed on eBay, but there might be 50 sold because there's such a high demand for it. There's just not enough listed. So that doesn't make something rare. But just like what both of them just said, for me, is something that you haven't seen on eBay. When you search the last 90 days, none listed there, no comps. If I go on Worth Point, if I can only find a couple comps over the last couple of years, and they're selling for a decent amount of money, then yeah, I'm going to consider that a rare item. But because Worth Point goes back 10 years and covers multiple auction sites, not just eBay. So that's going to be that's what I would consider rare.
Yeah, for me, and remember, I said either rare in demand for auction. Okay, so if what Rod said was true of something I had, there's 10 listed and 50 sold. That's something I might consider throwing up on an auction. That's a 500% sell-through rate. Yeah. For me, rare, yeah, I would say like less than 5 that I see in the last 10 years sold. For me to really believe it's a rare item over on Worth Point. I've had things that I've only seen 1 sold in 10 years on Worth Point. That's definitely going to be a rare item. But I will also do those high in demand items that have that crazy sell through, especially if there are none listed. If there are none listed and 10 sold, you are sitting on something that probably a lot of people want. And that is a good time to auction. They're gonna bid. They're gonna wait. They have no choice. You have the only one that is available on eBay. So at that point, you're in control, and the demand will drive that price point. And it might be way higher than what those solds are because everybody's like, "Oh crap, I didn't get one. This is the only one that's available." Go ahead, Rod.
I was gonna say, especially when you get into the collectibles, you're gonna see rare a lot. One of the cool things about when you start getting into like graded items like comic books, VHS, video games, sports cards, Pokemon cards, they release what they call a population report. So there might be a Michael Jordan rookie card out there. There could be 100,000 of those, but to get one at a Gem Mint 10 that's like mint condition, I think there's only like 200 or 300 of those out there. So that's going to be considered a rare card, even though there's 100,000 out there, but it comes down to the condition. So the condition could play into something being super rare when you are dealing with collectibles, because they do have those population reports.
Yeah. Let me give a super chat, and then I'm going to put this question up asking, do we pay for Worth Point? And we'll let the panel answer, and you guys can answer that in the chat as well. Here you go. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So, do you pay for Worth Point, and is it worth it?
So I do pay for Worth Point, and it's worth it because I pick up a lot of unusual stuff. And if I were just selling mall brands, or if I'm just selling clothes that are new with tags or those kind of things, Worth Point would be of really no benefit whatsoever. But a lot of times I will buy out an estate that had, I'm going to throw the word rare out there, but they have collectibles that haven't been on eBay in years. And I want to look back and see, have they ever sold and what's the trend? So I pay for it, and it's worth it now. It would not have been worth it for me when we started. I just wasn't selling enough unusual stuff.
I don't continually pay for Worth Point, but if I find an item and I realize the only listings I'm seeing is on Worth Point, I will grab it for a month if I think that item is high enough value. The last time I had Worth Point, I sold, you're going to laugh, I sold a Ray Dunn birdhouse for $2,500. That was super duper rare. It was Ray Dunn item. But the only listings to see were on Worth Point, and I was like, I think this is worth it. This thing's going to go. So, yeah. So I would use it if I put more items up on eBay that were high end, but I definitely think it's worth it if that's the only place you can find comps.
So just like Scott said, if you're just selling normal, mall brands, you're selling clothing, not really going into vintage, or if you're selling something that, like retail arbitrage, stuff like that, you don't need Worth Point. It's not going to benefit you or help your business. Peak now, and also too, if you're new to eBay, I don't recommend people new to eBay, keep your expenses down as much as possible. Don't go out and run and get Worth Point right away, because eBay goes back 90 days, and then you can actually go on Peak. Peak goes back now 3 years. So
Yeah.
you do have those. You guys do have those as well. But when it comes to rare items, I will tell you, and I'll give you guys a story. I went to a yard sale and I bought these Looney Tune figurines that were on motorcycles. And when I looked up some of the comps, I had like 6 or 7 of them. And when I bought them, there was 1 or 2 listed on eBay, and then there was a couple sold for like $75, $50 here in the last 90 days. And I went on Worth Point because I had a feeling that these, sometimes you have the gut feeling. I went on Worth Point, and some of those Looney Tune figurines were selling for $200 to $300 multiple times over the last 5 years. Now, part of the reason why people list stuff so low is because they're just going by maybe other things they saw on eBay, and they didn't go back and look at the history of those items. And if I would have went by the 90-day comps I saw on eBay, I would have been shorting myself probably anywhere from like $800 to $1,200. I ended up using the comps I got off Worth Point, listed all those up for like between $200 and $300, and some have sat in my store for a couple months, but they all sold. I ended up making over $1,500 for this box I paid $20 for. But if I would have went by the comps, they would have been up there for about $500. So the more of the story is, I don't tell everyone to go and look everything up, but when you have a gut feeling and you are dealing with collectibles or one-off items, Worth Point is worth its weight in gold. That all those items I sold on Worth Point has now just paid my Worth Point for the next 3 years, and I don't have to do anything on there. So,
Yeah.
And I made a profit on top of that. So I use it in my business. If you pick up one-off items, collectibles, if you're doing that, it is worth investment. I know it's like the cheapest plan is like $25 or $26 a month, but it does pay for itself over time. But make sure you're an established seller before you actually need to use that tool, because you have other resources that you can use.
Yeah, so I wanted to put this up. Darlene said she didn't know you could pay for it 1 month at a time. I still pay my Worth Point 1 month at a time. Somebody asked how much it is. I pay $26.99, and I don't know if it's increased and I'm price locked in because I've had it forever. I recommend, if you keep running into it, then you need it. I wouldn't get it before you keep like hitting a stop at Worth Point where you're like, man, I need to see the price. I need to see the price.
Agreed.
But like for me, a lot of things I Google Lens, Worth Point comes up and I want to see it. And I know I saw somebody saying eBay or Worth Point doesn't know, put the best offer accepted. Worth Point doesn't know the best offer accepted. Only eBay knows that. They can't put that because they don't know that. But if only I'm with Rod, is that the same thing? Like I had an ashtray of all things, 4-inch ashtray with a zebra on it. I picked it up in Key West, yard sale in Key West while I was there on vacation for $1, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, I'm gonna look this thing up, and it was from a nightclub in New York City, and it ended up selling for $400. Same thing as Rod. That one buy, I just made a $400 profit from Worth Point, paid for it for the whole darn year. I'm glad Rod said that about the Looney Tunes because I have, I think, like 10 or 15 Looney Tunes things in my drafts right now to go up auction. But the thing is that you will know not everybody needs it. Not everybody finds this one-off or rare stuff. But if you only see, a lot of times I see like none listed and 2 sold and they're low. And I'm like, I think that's worth more than that. That's when I go to Worth Point, and people are missing out on hundreds and hundreds of dollars by not doing the research. Now, the flip side is that you don't need to do that for every item or you're going to take forever to list things. Mm-hmm. But if you can't find info and there's only 1 or 2 sold, that's when Worth Point pays off. Literally, it pays off to have it. Let's see. Lenny, join the member. Time for some more turtles. Thank you, Lenny. I like that name. You don't hear that name very often. My dad used to share a house with a lady he took care of named Lenny. That's what that reminds me of. All right, enough of my blah, blah, blah. Here's your turn. Marsha wants me to, and I always forget, I tell her I'll say it. If you're joining the Death Pile Destruction group, please answer the questions. We do not let people in unless they agree to our rules because we do enforce them. You cannot advertise in there. You cannot post links. You cannot be mean. You cannot harass. You cannot bully. You cannot blah, 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 blah. Please agree to them or we will not let you in. And I always forget to say that. I always forget. Okay, let's see. Rachel says she has a set of vintage 12 Days of Christmas glasses, new in the box, sealed. Would you open it to get better pictures of the individual glasses, or just leave it as is?
I typically, if something is sealed, I don't open it unless I'm worried about the condition of it inside, and I want to verify that it's none of the glasses are chipped or broken or something like that. But if I'm confident that they're in really good shape, I'm taking a picture of it sealed just as it is, because for some collectible items, that's where the value lies. So I wouldn't open it.
I would agree, especially if it's like 80s and newer. I wouldn't break that seal. But when you start getting into vintage packaging, the packaging can be the cost of the item. You can have something that a lot of people have, and all of a sudden you just quadrupled its value because you have the packaging because everybody threw it away.
Yeah, so I deal with a lot of vintage collectibles, and sometimes the packaging can actually be worth more than the actual items. And when you do have stuff that is sealed, people want that. Like, there's hardcore collectors. I mean, you can see I have a Mr. T back there, still in the package. I won't open up. It's still brand new on the shelf back there. And we want items that are, when they're in the package like that, we want them to keep that. There are specific collectors that want to have the original tape on the package. They want to have everything. So no, I wouldn't. I would actually look. Yeah, there you go. I would actually look online.
Worth way more in the package than it is if I take it out.
Absolutely. So what I normally do is I have items that they're in the package like that, and see what I would put the picture of the package up. I would go online and try to find maybe a stock photo or another photo of them and then put in the description, hey, I listed another photo. It's not my photo, but this is what it looks like out of the package, so you guys can have a general idea of it. But most of the time, the items are shown on the package. But so just take a close up of that.
Yeah, and I agree. I would leave them in the box. If the tape was off and it wasn't sealed, I would take them out. But if it is sealed in any way, shape, or form, I'm not going to open that box. NS, I was chatting in the chat. You need to go at the top of the group. There's a pin post I pin, and it says free month of List Perfectly. Click that, and there's a link, and that'll take you to get your free month. It's a coupon code, and it'll give you a free month. You can sign up for whatever level you want, up to like the Pro Plus, which gives you everything. And that is how you will get the free month. So not just joining Death Pile, you have to go to the post. I posted a link, a coupon link, and I pin it to the top. So it should, like, if you're on the computer, it should come up at the very top. And let's see. Molly says, if a buyer has your item sitting in their cart, do you think there is a high likelihood they will buy?
No. People put stuff in their cart and they forget that it's in their cart and they're not on the application very much. So a lot of times if somebody puts something in their cart and then they don't make an offer, that for me anyway, that does not translate into sales.
Same response for me. And just thinking of my personal behavior, I put things in my cart all the time as like a mental bookmark, and I never come back to it.
My wife has a buying problem, and so she's been listening to a couple of like podcasts and like that try to like have better money management and stuff like that. And one of the things they say is, they specifically say in the books, and the thing is, if you think that you want something, add it to your cart. Sleep on it at night and go back the next day. If you still really want that item that's in your cart, then you should buy it. Whereas the other time we put things in our cart because it's an impulse buy. And so I would say no. If it's in the cart and they're probably not going to buy it, or they would have bought it already, because we are a society built on instant gratification.
If you saw my Amazon save for later list. Listen, I'll do like Rod too. Oh, I put it up, Rod. I forgot to uncheck it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I window shop online. I will like window shop at a sale, and then I stop at the end, and I'm like, do I really need this? And a lot of times the answer is no. And I have like $200 in my cart.
Can I throw out a money saving tip? Would this be an okay time? Also, if you're married, if you will just occasionally open Amazon and empty the cart without talking to anybody, you'll save money.
Listen, Brooke, my smart little 22-year-old child, will put stuff in the cart because I will add stuff to the cart and then I just proceed to check out, and then she gets what she wants because I don't look at the friggin' cart. And I'm like, wait, what did I just buy? Yeah. And then like Scott said, like if my husband puts something in the cart, I'm like, oh, he wants to buy that. I might just like be like, oh, he forgot to pay for it. And yeah. Anyways, as far as the actual question, I do not think there is a high likelihood that they will buy that item. A lot of my items I see 4 people have this in their cart. I mean, it's a great thing to maybe try and push the 5th person to actually buy it, not just put it in their cart. And some people think you can see in their carts and you can't, because I will have people tell me, can you give me combined shipping on what's in my cart? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, I can't see what's in your cart. They think we can see, and we can't see what's in your cart. Your cart is your cart. Okay, I'm going to put up this super chat. We're going to answer it, and then we're going to do 2 giveaways. Yeah. Will wants to know what percentage of your sales revenue or items are sold via the international shipping program, and what category, if any, do you notice goes international more?
Are you going to pop the thing up first, or do you want me to talk first?
No, talk.
Okay. I would say for me, probably 5 to 10% is the international program. And I have, I think I've talked about it on here before, the dust mop pads that we have. I send dust mop pads to Canada all the time, like all the time. And I know that like I'm getting like $7.99 for them, and they've got to be paying at least that much in international shipping. And like Canada's just got to be the cleanest country ever. But I send those things to Canada all the time.
Or maybe the uncleanest country. That's why they need. That's why they're paying all the
I
money to
don't
buy
think
them.
so. They couldn't have that many and not have a clean country. It's not possible.
So I don't have a percentage, but I do notice that a lot of teacups for me go international. So that feels right up Kat's alley. But yeah, teacups go international a lot.
So I would say that my international sales is probably like 5%. I mean, I don't know the number off the top of my head. I would say probably similar to a lot of other people on there. For me, when I do sell stuff international, a lot of times it's like high-end collectibles. You know, like the Disney pins that were sold over there. Denim sells really well, especially the Asian countries. Vintage Harley shirts sell international all the time. So it just depends on different items you sell. But high-end collectibles, I say I sell a lot international because they don't have the availability to those items like we do over here in stateside, and they will pay a premium to get those.
It used to say sold via eBay International, but I don't see it anymore. And I know some of these I'm looking at did go international. So I was hoping I could scroll. If I'm guessing 5 to 10%, I would agree with everybody else. And Catherine stole my darn answer. A lot of my teacups do go international. Also, a lot of buyers in Japan are wanting their collectibles back. So Japan-made collectibles are being bought and going to Japan a lot out of our store. Ours are mostly collectibles is what we send. Breakable things. Why not send those international, right? Yeah, that's what we sell international. All right, I'm going to give you this thing, and then we are going to do 2 giveaways. I'm going to give away a free month of List Perfectly, even if you're a current member, because in Death File Destruction, you have to be a new member. And I will give away a 6-pack of Joel. I'll give away 2 6-packs of Joel's My Go-To tape, which is absolutely amazing from American Bubble Boy. All right, here is Dalton on a Dolphin in cartoon made by Gino. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Present arms. Hold on. I'm like a mess tonight. I don't know. All right. I got it ready. Now I got it ready. Let's present the giveaway. All right. And then we got to click that button, Rod. We haven't done a giveaway in a little while. What button is it? This button?
No.
We don't know what we're doing. Just ignore us. All right. So hashtag List Perfectly. You can win a free month of List Perfectly, even if you already are a member. I give away one a month is what I am allowed to give away. And my friend Trish and a few of you have asked this. And listen, I'm like a little child with this. Anybody that knows me and has talked to me. So I got new glasses. They're Ray-Bans. I love them. I can see better. Step 1. That's the most important, right? But everybody kept asking me when I got my last ones too. And I was like, I got them at the eye doctor. They're this brand. And I couldn't tell anybody where to go get them. So this time I got them from Overnight Glasses. So I can give you the exact link if you want to get my Ray-Ban. And they have a bunch of discounts going on. So I'm proud of myself because I was like, this company's not going to answer me, but I did. I got us coupons and Marsha's going to put the link. Nice. And I have blue glasses coming. I'm super excited, like bright blue. Oh, Rod, I should have told Rod I was going to say that and he could have changed his light to blue for my blue glasses. They were both changing their light colors before the show. It was quite amusing. And they matched on purpose, just FYI. But Yeah, so overnight glasses, they ship your and we talked about this last week and everybody's like, I need my eyes. If you can't see, go get glasses. I was like this with my glasses on. I'm like, what am I doing? I did still buck the bifocals for the second time in a row. I am refusing to do that because I feel like I'm not ready for that step yet. I do probably need them. The doctor said so. But I refuse. So, not yet, because I can take my glasses off and I can see. I'm nearsighted. So to read, I just take them off. It's very easy. All right. Hashtag list perfectly. We have 73 entries. Let's answer a couple questions and then we'll pick a winner. MC Han wants to know, have any of us sold on First Dib or similar auction sites? And if you have, what are your thoughts?
So I applied to First Dibs. A couple of years ago, I had some women's clothing that all of it was in the $1,000 range, and but it just wasn't worth it for me. With the application process for First Dibs is pretty rigorous, and not only that, but they get a higher percentage. It's slower, and I mean, for me, I just sold it on eBay, and I don't have as much concern selling higher priced items on eBay. So I went that route, but
I have not.
I have not.
I have not either. So I cannot help either, unfortunately. All right, this question for me. How do I get around having 300 categories, only having 300 eBay categories in your eBay store? We sell everything like you are running out. I quit making my own categories after I made like 50. And I was like, this friggin' sucks. Like I sell too much crap. And so now I use eBay categories, which there's no limit on how many eBay categories. So I just default to eBay categories. I do not make my own. I started and I was like, what am I doing? Because I sell way, way too many things. Yeah.
The only thing I would add to that is, like, for me, I sell everything in my store, but there are certain things I do sell. I look for majority of the time. So if there's like a handful of items that you always sell, I put categories for those. The rest of that I just list in other. So for my store.
Yeah. And like I said, and now what you could make like a clearance thing too. Listen, guys, it's just the thought of them. Everybody's saying they have bifocals and progressive. Yeah. So I tried the what is it called? Like unifocal or something, where you put one close and one far away contact in, and I have astigmatism and it didn't work. So I tried that too. It didn't. I failed. All right, my eyeballs are horrible. Let's pick a winner. All right, dun-da-da-da. And email me and I will forward your information to them. So you'll email me, thenerdflipper@yahoo.com. Dun-da-da-da. Marie with the cute little girl is the winner. Let's do Joel's tape. Here we go. All right. What are we going to do? Hashtag my go-to tape. My go-to tape. You have to type it exactly like I did. There you go. You'll get a 6-pack of tape for. Oh, look at Scott. I don't even have mine ready. Mine's over there.
He's a constant professional, let me tell you.
He's a professional product person. I was gonna say that, but it sounded mean. Rod said he didn't care. Scott is like the modern day Vanna White of Amazon.
I'll take it.
If you would like to buy this tumbler, I really don't have a link for this tumbler. I'm just being funny.
Kat, did you do the Amazon influencer?
No, Scott. Did you do what I sent you? Did you recommend products in your videos?
No.
See, we're even.
Scott,
I did $211 yesterday on Amazon.
Okay, I will do commercials soon. So I will be the next Vanna White of Amazon. Once I get my blue glasses, that'll be better. I'm going to get the party ones too. I sent like, listen, this is me. I sent like 10 glasses that I like to like my friends. And I'm like, you are very, very welcome, Marie. And I'm like, which one do you like? And luckily they all picked like the same too. So I'm getting one pair and then I'm going to buy the other pair too. The second pair is called Party and they have like little geometric shapes and they're like 80s. They're really cool. So I'm going to get both. Kay, I am happy that we can make you laugh. We meaning me are a hot mess tonight. I said that before we started the show. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. Sometimes you just know. All right, let's answer a question and then we will pick a winner. Laura wants to know if any of us have sold any of our own homemade items on eBay.
That's actually how I got started. Before Melody made me sell girl stuff, I had mostly stuff off my lumber mill, and I did some artwork, stuff like that I would sell, and that was way back in the 90s. But so, yeah, I have. I mean, mostly woodworking stuff. The problem is for me is that I can sell the lumber. I could get more for it if I didn't build anything out of it than if I made something. So it wasn't worth it for me to build anything. But yeah, no, I sold a Frank Lloyd Wright cube chair I built out of mesquite to a guy who lived in a Frank Lloyd Wright apartment.
That's awesome.
Neat. Yeah, I have sold artwork on eBay. I was kind of doing a test back and forth. Actually, this is close to a decade ago, between Etsy and eBay to see which worked best for me. And certain things sold better on eBay. So, and especially now, Etsy, a lot of the stuff you're looking for gets buried the way Etsy is turning out right now. So, I also follow a lot of artists online and they just go for eBay instead of Etsy because the searchability is easier.
I used to make some custom action figures. So take existing action figures and customize them or paint them or add putty and stuff to them. I did that when I was like right out of high school, just messing around as like a little hobby and stuff, but I made good money doing it. But that was the only thing I handmade and sold.
Yeah, I have a couple of wood cutting boards that my husband made out of like some really nice like cherry and walnut on there. They haven't sold yet though. I was surprised. As far as me, no, I always like what sucks about handmade to me is like a lot of times people like now don't value the time that goes into things, and that kills me. Like when I pick up the vintage linens and the vintage crochet blankets, the hours that it probably took someone to make that, and here I pick it up for $5. Like the yarn is probably worth $50, you know, to make that thing, and then I might get $40. So I've always kind of shied away from it. From what I have seen with handmade stuff now in our economy, he customizes enemas and sells them.
True story.
I really hope that's Enamans and not Enema.
Where is my Enaman? Oh, did somebody steal it? Oh, I don't see my Enaman. Listen, buddy, Mr. Johnny on the spot. So from what I've seen, the handmade people that are absolutely rocking it are the ones that have built social media followings. And like, they're getting like 5 times what another person would, because they like some of the tie-dye artists. Have you seen the tie-dye artist on Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that
Super
stuff
cool.
is so cool. And then you watch them making it and then you want to buy it. And, yeah, so those are the ones if I did like, and I was gonna with my resin, but I just, monovision, that's what it's called. Squirrel. So if I was gonna do something like that, I think that's what I would do, would build a social media following showing me making it. I was gonna do it with my resin, and then I squirreled and got out of it. And I do that regularly. If you've been watching me for any length of time, I pick up random hobbies and move on very fast. Yay, Lynn. See, Lynn has one of my resin kits. Yeah, so my resin stuff might be rare now. because I'm not making it anymore. Okay. Let's pick a winner. We're going to pick 2 winners, guys. And what you'll do is just email me and I'll give you a special coupon code if you're a winner. Dun, da, 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 6-pack of Joel's tape that Scott will show you now. I can't see the screen, so I have to trust Scott is showing you it. Michelle Staples is the first winner, and let's pick one more. Dun, da, da, da. And Marsha will put the directions in the chat. L Tack is the second one. Congratulations. And thank you to Joel for our free tape and to Clara and Amanda for our free list perfectly. We appreciate them very, very much.
If anyone posted a question during the drawings, you might want to repost that question. So
yes, and Marsha's going to post the glasses after all of the scrolling too, because she's smarter than me. She's like, Kat, I'll post it after the giveaways. That was a bad time to say I would put that in there. I will, if you remind me, I will give away some more tape next week. I can't give away any more list perfectly until next month. All right, Miss Carla says her spidey senses were on high alert on a recent sale. She knew the buyer was going to be a problem. Today she received a message that said they received the package and it was opened. So how should she respond?
Meaning that the shipment had been opened. What I would say at that point is you need to talk to your carrier and talk to them about, hey, my package was opened, and take it up with them, because if you shipped it and it got where it was going, then honestly, your responsibility kind of stops at their door. And if it was opened, like, that's not something you have control over. So I would send them to their carrier.
I would do the same thing. But if they mean like the item inside package was open, I would request a picture of like what it was. Like maybe something moved around, but same response as Scott, with just a little caveat of maybe ask for a picture to clarify.
yeah, I always ask for pictures anytime there's damaged packaging, just so you have them for your record. Also, too, if the buyer is BSing you, then they'll just ghost. They'll go away. They won't respond, because I've had that happen in the past. But I would tell them to go to postal service. They need to file a claim to the postal service that the package was received like that, because the post, so that you would need that documentation. And then at that point in time, I would wait for them to see what they're going to do. The next step of that buyer would be to open up a claim through eBay and go through the proper steps. That if they do open a claim through eBay, they're going to have to provide documentation of the open package and pictures of it and go through those steps. Because
most of the time, if it's damaged through USPS or through FedEx or UPS, they stamp it and put package arrived damaged or something like that is stamped on the package. So if it was USPS, I would say, please show me the packaging where they marked that the package was received open.
Yeah.
Because they mark it. They're not going to just leave it there open unless they mark it.
I've even had them repackaged. They've repackaged my package before, or put a bag over it and then put it on and said that we stamped it. So
yeah, for sure. Camille, send him $5. Me and Rod click the same thing at the same time all the time.
Every week.
Every week. What have we not? Oh, we haven't done Yvonne's mermaids in a while. I'm going to give Camille the mermaids. Here you go. Oh, and there's a merman. Here you go. Oh, yeah, the merman was at the end doing flips. Somebody corrected me last time. I said it was just mermaid. And Yvonne is who made the Kevin super chat, by the way. If you want to thank somebody for Kevin's butt, thank Yvonne Thrifty Rich, because she made it. Mm-hmm. Don't be mean to her. All right. Hold on. Oh, we got 2 more. Oh, we did. We answered Will, right? About the international.
Yep.
Okay, Katherine is saying a buyer said her $250 perfume was fake. She had detailed pictures of the bottle and she had to prove it was fake, and she won. Oh, that's not a question. That's a statement. That is amazing. Dang. Congratulations, Katherine. I am so happy to hear that. I love when we win, you know, like a lot of times we're in the right and we're banging our head against the wall, but it goes our way sometimes for sure. All right, let's do the beach. Here you go. That kid. I want to record a video tonight after we're done with the show. So I told Brad to take Dalton to bed and not bring him out here, which is what he did last week. And Dalton is very, very mad at me right now because I knew he would be so tired. So Dalton is not happy with me right now.
Tell him to take it up with HR.
I know, right? Like we went to 3 of the last 4 Tampa Bay Rays game. I drove to Tampa 3 out of the last 4 days for the Tampa Bay Rays game. And listen, so Dalton got a ball Friday. This is my kid. And he said, oh, look at that. It's used. I'm like, Dalton.
You can't sell it like that.
He's like, Mom, do you see this? I'm like, oh my goodness, kid.
That's awesome. That's funny.
He is a mess. He is such a mess. All right. LTAC said, not a question. I wanted to thank you all for your YouTube tutorials. I'm brand new part-time. You were all awesome, especially Scott. Scott is by far the favorite tonight. Listen, buddy. If you do need tutorials, Scott puts out a lot of tutorials. I haven't put out tutorials in a very long time. I do have some that are probably still relevant, but I have not put any out in a long, long time. Oh, here's a fun one. Marjorie says she's looking to take the YouTube plunge. What's your advice?
So my advice would be that if you are doing it because you think that it pays a lot, that I would tell you that you can probably make more money just by doing eBay. Like for me personally, I do make some on YouTube, but overall, YouTube has taken me away from eBay for so much time that collectively I make less. So you have to want to do it. If you don't enjoy that process, it would not be worth it.
My advice would be to just jump in and don't think you need to buy the camera this person suggests, the whatever this person suggests, this editing software this person suggests. Like, just jump in and start. And this isn't a dig at anyone, but your first videos are gonna suck anyways. So you might as well just put them out there, okay? And you can look at my first videos. They suck. They're still on my channel. I don't hide them.
You can look at mine.
Yeah, like I don't hide them.
I
heard this amazing advice from YouTube, by the way, and I thought it was wonderful. It said, get going, get good, and then get strategic. And I believe that so much. Get going. Like, just start. And the best part about sucking when you start is no one's watching you anyways. Like, 35 views and like your mom watched it on repeat. Like, you're fine.
You give my mom a lot of credit.
So just like you said, no one's going to watch your first video, and your first video is going to suck. And you're going to get 10 times better as the more and more you do. My first video, I had my stepson. I had the worst lighting. I had my stepson film me doing unboxing, and it looked like my cameraman had Parkinson's disease. It was just shaking around, like, it is what it is at that point. And I always tell people, you want to try to get 1% better at each video. So if you can try to make something better each time in your video, it could be the lighting, it could be your title, your thumbnail, you're in the right direction. You got to be consistent. And just like Scott said, that's one of the biggest things. You have to do it because you have a passion for it and that you love it. Because even a lot of people on this panel, I say we put out videos of that, and I lose money to this day putting out videos on YouTube. I make money on YouTube, but I lose money because the amount of money I make off putting out a video and it might take me to film it, to edit it, to do my thumbnail, my title. It might take me a couple hours. With those 3 hours I spent doing that 15-minute video you guys watch, I could have listed $1,000, $1,500 worth of stuff on eBay and made 10 times the amount of money I'm going to make off that YouTube video. So you have to have a passion. You have to do it. You want to be consistent. But I will tell you, my biggest regret ever, and one of my biggest regrets in life, is not starting earlier, because I originally was going to start my YouTube channel back in 2019, 2020, right when the pandemic, before the pandemic happened.
Yep.
And if I would have launched my YouTube channel before the pandemic happened, my channel may be a lot, much bigger now, because that's everyone consumed YouTube, and a lot of people blew up there. Not saying my channel would have, but I'm just saying is I could have been in a lot better place now. So the biggest regret is people try to make it's going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You can always do better. Just jump in and do it, like you said. And I always recommend filming a couple videos, because stuff's going to happen in life, and you're going to fall behind. So always make sure you have some in the tank to go, just in case.
Yeah. Can I jump in really quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I saw a comment here about like people telling you all your faults on YouTube. Somebody was saying that. Please, no negative comments and commentary on your videos. Not a reason to not start. It's like 1%. People like
that's how you know you made it, when you start getting more of them. By the way, the bigger you get, the more haters.
If you listen to the cheers and you take everything that people say, oh, you're great, you do this, you're going to hear the boos as well. So take the cheers and take the boos with a grain of salt, and just see what you just keep hitting the pavement.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys some facts here. Okay, and I will tell you, I do make a good income from YouTube. I make a very good income from YouTube. It is crazy how much it fluctuates. Like, it will make you stress out and freak out, and it's not something you can depend on, because as soon as you depend on it, it will be gone. I've learned that. So here is the statistics. So only 8% of channels. So there are 350 of us in here right now. If all of us start channels, 24 of us will ever earn a single penny from YouTube. 24. Okay. Out of those 24, only 15 would ever earn an income that could be considered a paycheck. So 5%, guys, 5 out of 100 channels are going to make enough to sustain themselves. So if money is the motivator, it's probably not a good one. And people know. So I would say, if you want to do it and start here. I will give you the free tip I gave to LaDonna, and she fixed it so fast. I was impressed. Look at the camera lens. Do not look at the screen, because you'll look like I would look like this. So if you guys can see, I'm not looking at the camera right now. Now I am. That is one of the hardest things to learn, or it was for me. I had to tape something above this lens. So I'm looking at you. I am talking to you, because your tendency is going to be to look at yourself, which makes you not look at the camera. My first video was also up and down. So there was all this black space on the side. So that's my second tip. Turn your phone sideways to make it where the video is correct. I personally did not buy a camera for YouTube. I only used my phone until YouTube paid for it. I did not pay for it out of my pocket. YouTube revenue paid for my camera. So listen, I'm calling her out because she called me out, kind of. Go look at LaDonna's thumbnails from a month ago, and she's looking like this, and go look at them now where she's looking like this. Okay? You're welcome. But take advice. Even still, no matter how big your channel is, if a lot of people are telling you the same thing, I keep having one person telling me my intro music sucks. Okay, well, but the other 2,000 people that watched this recently, they didn't say that. So you're negative 0.01%. Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it. But if a lot of people are oh, you're moving too much, or oh, you're talking too fast, or things like that, pay attention, because they're trying to help you. They're not being mean. You have to, and we learned this in nursing, you have to be able to take constructive criticism and be able to use that to grow and get better. Yeah, see?
Can I add on to that for just a second? Yeah. So most of mine, if you watch my channel, most of my videos are tutorials, because I have a degree in education. I loved teaching, and this gives me some of that. That isn't the only reason that I do tutorials. I did some videos where I went to estate sales and I went to garage sales, and seriously, it's like you took a caffeinated squirrel and lit his butt on fire and strapped a camera to him. And people, if you watch the comments, people were like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, and what they don't know is I filmed it at 120 frames per second.
Oh no.
And I slowed it 50% before I published it. And so Melody, because I was getting that kind of feedback, and I was like, well, I'll talk to Melody because she's on my side. She was like, yeah, you're probably not very good at that. Like, and like, so like, if you watch any of mine, you're like, well, that's not so bad. That's because Melody filmed that part. And she's like, so, sometimes the feedback is accurate.
Yeah. And you have to weigh between what you like doing, because you really need to like what you're doing, right? People can tell if you like what you're doing and what your audience wants. So I always tell people, like, if you're getting 20 views on every video and then all of a sudden you get 100, that's 5 times the views. It might not be a lot of views, but that's 5 times the views. So pay attention. And if that is a thrifting video, then maybe do some more thrifting videos. My channel's funny because it goes back and forth. Like my research videos, that is what blew my channel up. I think most people know that. My teacup video is almost at 500,000. It's almost at 500,000 views. And so I continue doing it. And 2 years later, I'm still doing it. People liked it. I like doing it. I saw a response. But my what sold videos still get views. However, if you talk to some reseller channels, their what sold videos nobody will watch. So you really have to know what your audience wants you to show them and mesh that with what you like doing.
Also, too, one thing I'll add is something we didn't talk about on here is YouTube is an emotional roller coaster. Be prepared for that. And it's literally a big bad word. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because you can literally think that you have the best video ever. You could put your heart and soul into it. You could spend 8 hours editing, greatest thumbnail ever, and it could come out and just flop. And then you could literally, you could do that all week long, put out all month long, and just have all your videos. Because a lot of people don't know this. Once you get to a point on YouTube, they rank your last 10 videos. Yeah. And they could be just tens and tens, like horrible ranking on every single video. And
it's very, very disheartening.
And then you could just throw something together, and that thing will be a number one and just take off, and you have no idea why. I just need to
put some crap out.
Yeah. So like
100,000 views later.
Well, but the point I guess where I'm getting at, and what Kat just said is you don't know what's going to hit for you, so you need to find out what your audience hits. But like, be prepared because you're going to have you think you're the best person ever, and then you're going to think you're the worst, that no one wants to watch your channel anymore, and it can literally be really mess with your mental health. So
you have to keep going. If you really like it, you have to keep going because it could be the next video that goes viral. You really never know what's going to go viral.
Kevin put a note here. So he said, go to reselling events and buy creators beer. That's what I did. I went to a reselling event. I bought him beer to pick his brain.
All drinks.
I bought because I wanted to pick their brain. So like find a person that's where you want to be and go pick their brain. Ask them questions because it does help.
I saw Kevin in a clip earlier. I'm not sure I want to be where Kevin's at. I'm just saying.
I want to be where he's at. I'll even wear the mermaid suit. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, like you have to network. You're in here. Being in the reseller community in any way, shape, or form will help to build the channel. It'll help you to network. I messaged somebody who happened to pop up on my YouTube homepage. I had never heard of her. And she's like, oh, yeah, like messaged her and said, hey, come on the show. Liked her video. She's newer. It happens. And meet people at the get-togethers. And if we hear of them, we'll let you guys know. I haven't really heard of many, though. Rod, have you heard of any that are going on?
No, not unfortunately this year. There's not a lot of reselling events, but there is tons of highway sales. Highway sales are great ways to meet other resellers, townwide sales, Facebook groups, but there's no big like national events that I know.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any for this year.
So in the vintage community, at the end of June, a lot of people are going to Indiana, Bedford, Indiana, to see Misty, Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. She's doing a pop-up there. So in my specific target audience, that's one that's coming up. And Also, back to the question about starting a YouTube channel. If you start a YouTube channel, you get to know more resellers. Like it naturally happens. I will be doing vacations this year with other resellers. I took vacations earlier this year with other resellers. I've gone to Vegas and partied with other resellers. The YouTube channel helps you do that and make those connections.
You build a community. Like the YouTube channels are definitely a community. Like, and some of them will overlap, but you'll have like your hardcore people. Like even when I had 500 subscribers, and some of them are still here is the cool thing. They are still here, and they are like my core audience, and they are not going anywhere. And then some of them watch others, but you'll have some that are diehard you, even if you have 500 subscribers. And that's the cool thing. And you build your own community that intertwines with all of these other communities, which is great. Oh, thank you, Eileen. Listen, I'm a kid I don't buy shoes or purses. So like glasses are like, yeah. Oh, and look at my new ring.
Ooh.
Woo. That was from one of my lots. I don't spend money on jewelry either. Hi, Aaron. Aaron was one of my original ones. Marsha was around in the beginning. Like and the thing is when you're that little, the cool thing, like they all really, really know me because like it was just me and them in the comments. You know, there were thousands of people. There were tens of 5 people watching, and you know, and you get to know them, and as you grow, it's really cool. It's blue topaz. And I replaced this one too. I finally me and Brad had cheap wedding rings, so I switch them out. Like whenever I find a nice one, I'm like, oh, I like this now. So I just switch it. Yeah, see, Marsha's been around since 300 subs. And I wanted to say hi. Tap is joining us from Australia. Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. We learned that when Mel was on with us. It is Wednesday morning in Australia. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Did I put Kathleen's sticker up or did I get distracted? I think I got distracted. We'll give you Rod. We haven't seen Rod all night. Don't worry. He's not in a Speedo like Kevin. Here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time. It's crazy when I see that because that's like such an old video, and that's across the street from my house, and that's all developed now. So it's
wow.
To see it, yeah.
I was like one of the first houses on my block that when I started building.
Before they started, yeah. Darlene wants to know, can you use emojis in your listing titles?
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever had the desire to put an emoji in my listing title. It wouldn't be very searchable. So even if it's possible, I think I'd opt out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's a waste of a character.
You can do it, but I agree with them. It's why people aren't searching for emojis on eBay. It's one of the last things they're going to be searching. So don't you get 80 characters to use those to your benefit.
I thought you couldn't because I tried once and it wouldn't let me.
I've seen them on there before.
Don't ask me I've seen them too, and then I tried to do it and it wouldn't let me. But I do agree it's a waste of a character, but I thought it would just like make the title pop. Don't ask. All right. Wendy. Oh, we already talked about best offers. I think we talked about best offers earlier. Bobby wants to know if anyone has noticed an uptick in delivered items that went international or through authentication where the buyer is claiming the box was empty or never received.
Not for me. I haven't had any.
Not for me.
Not for me, but I've heard stories of international packages ending up like that because there are a lot of shady customs, and when it's going through so many different channels, especially when you're in other countries that don't have the same regulations that we do, you will run into stuff like that. But yeah, it's always been a thing, unfortunately.
I've only had one package ever of any international or non that they have said has ended up empty in the last 5 years. But if you're using eBay International, you're protected as long as it was in the box when it went. Don't do what Kevin does. No pineapple emojis.
Upside down pineapple emojis.
Oh,
Kevin would say.
John Doe wants to know, have any of us encountered a buyer who privately hides their feedback or comments that other sellers have given to them. You can only see the number of feedback, but not any comments.
I've had some of those because I'm always checking the feedback when I get an offer. And so what my assumption is, if they've hidden it, they're hiding something. So I treat it the same way I would somebody that had super ugly feedback as to whether or not I'm going to deal with them. So if they've hidden their feedback, and unless I knew why, I have to assume that there's a reason they hid it.
I would make the same assumption. There was a reason they hid it. I haven't noticed that before.
So back in the day, like back in the Wild West days of eBay, you were able to like click on the items they would actually purchase. You were able to like to go through and like do like a deep dive into their personal accounts. So I know people that would actually hide their information, so people wouldn't be able to contact their buyers. People wouldn't be able to contact the people that they bought something super cheap from and to see what else they would have. So I know that was a thing like many. I'm talking like 15 years ago. But I mean, if it's a newer account. Yeah, I mean, some people just want their privacy with that. I mean, but that was a thing.
You can still see the titles of what they bought.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe they're buying some pineapple stuff they don't want you to know about.
There you go.
Yeah, listen, that's when you're broke in. It's like bad comments on YouTube. Once you get your first negative, you're a real reseller. Like,
wait a minute.
I'm telling you, it's the same.
I don't have any. Don't
Not
say
yet.
that.
You better knock on some of that good wood you got around there, buddy.
Where's Scott's store at right now?
I have 5 right now, and I quit Karen.
No, I've had maybe 3 since they started that, but I got them all removed because every single person that left them was just insane. And if somebody leaves an insane comment, you can usually get that worked with. It just depends. Let me tell you, it goes like this if you listen to, sometimes everybody's getting them removed and then they'll.
Right now you can't, like lately it's, I quit trying because it was ridiculous. Katherine, did you tell them your cat's name in the chat?
I did in the chat, but his name is Captain Jack Sparrow.
I love that.
And he fails all sight tests except high contrast, so he's blind.
Do you know about my blind cat? You probably don't, do you?
I don't.
I rescued because somebody dumped him in my yard, and Brad says any animal that like touches our land, I think I own. And so somebody dumped him in our yard, and a blind little orange Manx kitty, his name's Honey. And he was completely blind, and we had to get both of his eyes removed, and now they're sewn shut, and he's still as mischievous as before. Brad's like, that cat can see. I'm like, the cat can't see. So now he has no eyes. I'm like, what are you going to say now? Because he's being the same. He hides under the microwave and pops you. Now he started hiding under our dresser in the bedroom, and he whacks you when you walk by. I have a picture of him chasing Dalton, or a video on Instagram. But yeah, completely blind, and this cat gets into more stuff than our cats that can see. Okay,
our cat's not blind, but he's so dumb that you would think so.
Is it orange? Is it an orange cat?
No, he's white,
okay.
Sort of, and he's cross-eyed, so he's kind of blind. But he really is not sharp. Like, seriously, like there's something off.
Listen, everybody always says poor cat. I'm like, that cat is not a poor cat. Like, he is so rotten. He's not a poor cat. All right, Scott. Jake says he tells new sellers to avoid storage units in the beginning. Do you agree or disagree, and why? I feel like this is a presentation at a college question, the way it's phrased.
100% I would agree that new sellers should not be buying storage lockers. First of all, they're all convinced that they're full of guns and gold, and they're not. Most storage lockers, unless you really know what you're doing, are full of work.
Wait,
and
was he
end up with a very low dollar inventory that's hard to move. And I mean, we buy storage lockers, but I've bought storage lockers for 20 some years, and they're a lot of work. They take a lot of work. And so no, a new seller, like, they're exciting and I get it, but no, not for reselling. You buy it for fun and you know what you want to do with the next 6 months of your life. But like as far as buying it for profit, I still haven't found a gun. I've never found a gun.
Have you found a
So-
safe that you get to bust open? Like, hit it?
No. I have found some super cool stuff, and I'm really good at buying storage lockers, and they're still a ton of work, and you need to want a locker. And keep in mind, we buy them, but I give away probably 80% of the stuff out of a storage locker. I just give it away. And, I'm cherry picking him, getting rid of the rest. But no. He is exactly right. Beginning sellers, if they're wanting to be a seller, storage lockers are not profitable if you don't know exactly what you're doing. They're just a ton of work.
I would
All right.
say the same exact thing. I'm a big proof of concept person. So if you're running through so much inventory that you're like, you know what I want? A challenge, something that will take up my capacity and suck my time. Let's go for it, But I've even bought vintage lots that are you get everything on this huge 6 shelf, right? And it bit me in the butt because I didn't realize how I didn't even have enough capacity to move everything I was looking at. I actually ended up opening an antique booth because of that mistake of buying way too much inventory. So, anyways, I would just say, oh no, not unless or maybe you have a YouTube channel and you want to show people. I don't know.
But you still have to get rid of that stuff. So, I mean,
But you still have to do the work.
Yeah.
correct. And the biggest mistake I hear when people they're new and they buy storage units, they don't know what to do with the merchandise. You know what I mean? You have to have a way to move that. That's going to be flea markets. That's going to be donations. That's going to be to the city dump. You need to be prepared to make those steps and be able to move those items and find places to go but Scott, would you say majority of your lockers that you buy, how much are you actually taking out that's going to be profitable from those lockers? Not talking about money. I mean, are you taking 20% of those items usually? 10% of those items?
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So,
But we cherry pick them. And
correct.
so the one with the vintage sweats in it, it was a very high percentage of the stuff. But
that's a one-off.
Even at that, there was 6,000 different sweats that I have to deal with. It's a ton. So Melody and I buy them occasionally. And something else that new people might not consider is that, Melody and I both struggle with the fact that you'll buy some of these lockers. These lockers aren't usually available because things went right for people. And the one that got us both is we bought this storage locker. It was an older lady's locker. No big stuff. Her costume jewelry was worth the most. But she had died. Both of her sons had been murdered 8 years apart. The family had disappeared. And it was just this awful tragedy. And it's when you go through a locker, especially a personal one, you see this stuff. I got home from work. Melody was sitting in our living room just bawling. And so for us, storage lockers you got to be in the right frame of mind too, because they're usually available because something went wrong. And
same thing when you buy collections, because I do a lot of private picks and buy collections. And when people contact me to buy a collection, there's 3 different reasons. It's usually a life-changing event, meaning that they're having a baby, they're moving, something good's happening, they lost their job, or someone died. That's the 3 main things, the reason why people contact me. And usually it's the latter of those, that when people pass away, their family doesn't, I hate to break this, a lot of people out there that have collections, but your kids and your family don't want it. 90% of the time, they don't want to carry your burden, your collection. So keep that in mind when you are building these collections as you guys get older, because you want those collections to go to other collectors that are going to appreciate what you have. And I can't tell you how many collections that I see people's life, and I walk in a room and the first thing I notice, because I'm a collector, I'm like, this is 20, 30 years of someone's life work, and the kids can give 2 craps about it because there's nothing to do with
your collection's your collection, you know, and I think that's hard for a lot of people to realize. And even going to estate sales, it's the same thing. You feel like you know someone, you get to know someone just looking through the stuff. And there are a few I'm like, man, I would have loved her. With the stuff that people have. And people are like, oh no, that's sad. I don't really necessarily think it's sad because I'm getting it to get it in the hands of somebody else that's going to love it, where the family doesn't. That's why they're selling it. They have pulled what they want. You know, what they want is already there, gone. It's not in there. I have brought back stuff that I got from estate lots, like personal pics that had names and birthdays, like jewelry that was engraved, and they thanked me because that stuff like slipped by them. Like they didn't mean to put that in the lot. You know, like I got the jewelry box, they thought they had removed everything and they hadn't. But I think it's cool because you want somebody else to appreciate it, and you can't make your kids appreciate it. You know,
Right.
Just like I can't make my kids want to resell like I do. And, you know, I have no choice over that. Yeah. So Cheryl's saying her brother collected stuff. She say he was a hoarder and his estate was terrible to deal with. And a lot of people contact me telling me that, like, they know their kids don't want this stuff and they're going to try and sell it now. And I think that's the most realistic, smartest move, because you're going to get it into the hands of another collector. You know, if you sell it yourself, it's somebody else who's collecting and wants it, versus your kids maybe throwing it away. You know, you don't know what they're going to do with it. So that's definitely something to think of. I had to put this up here because I didn't really answer that. So I'm a gambler. I don't gamble often because I'm a smart gambler. I like to think. And luckily I don't live anywhere near Vegas. Thank goodness. Or Hard Rock Casino like Rod does. I might be in trouble if I lived in Tampa. Dancing Leaf said, I love buying storage lockers. It's a lot of work. It's the same as going to the casino. So is buying lots, which is why I like it. And that's also, though, I'm going to tell you guys, and I've been talking about this a lot recently, that's also how I ended up with 7,000 items and a very low sell-through rate. Okay.
Yep.
Because I buy the lots because I want that one thing that might, sometimes I see it, sometimes I know it's there, but sometimes I don't. And I hope that it's there. And I think the key with that, with storage lockers as well as lots, and I haven't bought a storage locker, and I might be able to once I finally get my mindset completely switched, is letting the stuff go that's not worth listing. And for me, I was listing everything in that lot and all of it was not worth listing. And now I'm trying to be a little more disciplined with it. But you got to really realize that you don't need to pinch every dollar out of it. Sometimes the work is worth more than the money you're going to get out of it. And that's what I have to just keep telling myself. Because my tendency is to want every single penny out of a lot that I can get.
And a lot of times when you do buy big collections or lots, you know, you want to use the 80-20 rule where you're getting 80% of your money back for 20% of the items. But then, you know, the 80% of those items you have left over, you need to move those or find ways to just clear those out or move those, because you know, you want to have that positive cash flow coming back to you as soon as possible, because if another opportunity arises, you don't want your money tied up in storage unit or your money tied up in these massive collections, because that could really be more detrimental to your business than anything else.
Yeah. Northwoods Flipper says, I bought a lot of 12K plus vintage lapel pins. World War I, the 9s. What is your suggestion to attack such a collection?
What a fitting question after what we just discussed.
It's exactly the same thing. You know, it depends. Again, you got to go back to the question is, what's your goal? Is your goal to flip this so that you could go buy another collection? If so, you need to build huge lots and get it sold. Because if you put 500 pieces in a lot, you're going to sell this stuff relatively quickly, but you're not going to maximize your profit. So for me, if I bought that with 12,000 vintage pin, I want it gone because I enjoy looking for stuff so much that might be several years worth of inventory, and then I don't get to shop anymore. So for me, I'm lotting that up and I'm getting it to other resellers. We've got some people around us that Melody and I have helped get started. That's who we give our inventory to. So probably for me, I cherry pick this. I pull out the gold. I pull out the pieces that are, you know, $100 and up, and then I give away the rest and get it out of my life. That's probably what I would do if we're being realistic.
That's exactly what I would do too. I love the treasure hunt. So vintage is like something I absolutely love. I would do lots, as Scott said, but I would also take his advice and research things and see which are like the $100 plus items. And when I photograph the lot, I would put like one really good piece in that lot and make sure when you're spreading out the lots. Now, by the way, this is 12K, so you're not going to be able to do this for everything. You're not going to be able to look up everything. But I would make sure that the lots have like something very enticing in that big lot.
On the top.
Yes. And so when you take that picture, it'll move faster. I don't know if that's like a kind of sneaky practice, but that's how I would market it. But yeah, I love treasure hunting. I love that you did that, but I would move it in big lots, just like Scott said.
So for anyone out there who's going to buy a collection, the first thing I would tell you is before you buy a collection like this size or any, it doesn't matter what it is, make sure you have a plan before going into it, before you actually make the purchase. Because the biggest mistake I see a lot of new sellers do is when they buy collections, they don't have a plan, and now they're stuck, and now they're trying to figure out after. Not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying that just for friendly advice to anyone else out there looking to buy collections. Like if this was me, situation like this, I did something very similar. I bought a Disney pin collection. I bought a smaller. If I'm buying 12,000 pins, apparently I think that you probably would have some type of pin knowledge maybe going into that. Like for me, I didn't know anything about Disney pins, and I bought 600 of them for $1,500. I flipped those, but I had to plan where I was going to flip those right and whatnot and on eBay. And I was able to quick double my money, triple my money on those pins, move those pins. And I bought another collection for over $5,000, and I bought 2,600 Disney pins. And then, one thing is, when you buy a massive lot like this, that's what I call paying for an education, because you will start becoming an expert in knowing what to do. So that's one plus from doing this. Also, too, what I did was I couldn't look up 2,600 pins. So what I did was I started putting them and whatnot, started running them individually, and I'd let people pick them, and I would see what was starting to sell real high, and then I started doing my research as I went. People bought pins for $16 that sold for $150 for me. People bought pins for $20 that were selling for $100. I didn't know any better, but at the same point in time, my buy cost was less than anywhere from like $2 to $3 a pin. So it didn't matter to me if someone got a good deal. That buyer is coming back every single show now because they know they get a good deal on that. So I had a plan in place. I was able to move it, and when my whatnot shows, I was selling 100, anywhere from 50 to 100 pins per time. So I was doing real similar concept. What they were saying, they were just putting lots and selling a lot. I was doing these lot shows and selling it within an hour and just blowing them out. So you just got to have a plan in place. But I think the biggest thing is to pull out what you may know may be valuable, try to get back, list those higher end items to make it big money, and then move the rest of the stuff as soon as possible and get that money back on those.
So they said they don't know very much about pins. It was only 2,500, lots of Harley, Disney, military, and so much more. So separating them, and as like I would look some up.
Yeah.
And one thing you could do is like look up Harley pins, sort it from highest to lowest, and look at the ones that are selling for the high. So if you have those really high dollar, just like I do for my research video, look up military pins, look up Disney pins. When I got my Harley pins, and I wish in hindsight I had done this, and this is only 600 pins, mind you, not 12,000.
Yeah.
I listed every single one of them. It was 600. Well, and I mean, though, for us, we list 150 a week. So that's a month's worth of listing, But Harley pins were faster. They weren't like my daughter was listing like 100 a day. But I wanted to research everyone to check the comps. And with 12,000, that'd be like 3 years of sourcing probably. But I learned which ones were valuable. What I should have done is preemptively done that and lotted the unvaluable ones up in lots of 20 and maybe listed 50 of the 600 individually, and the rest should have been in lots. And some of them are still sitting here 3 years later. So, but I mean, I made thousands and thousands of dollars off of them. I don't think it was necessarily wasted time, but you could find, like, if you wanted to just flip it fast, you could put them on auction, put 20 pins on auction. The Harley collectors will find them. They will know which ones are valuable, and they will run that auction up. So that is something you could also do, is make sure you lay them out. I've seen so many like auctions go high, and I don't know why, but those collectors that are bidding on it do. There's a one in there. So that would be like, you're in a quarter a piece, start them at $1 a piece, 20 for $20, and you would quadruple your money fast. And then you would hope that, like I said, that they would bid them up and you would get it. But I agree with Scott too. Pull the gold, pull the silver. That's going to be your first thing.
Yeah.
Is definitely pull that precious metal.
One thing I would add is if you have Disney pins in there, on the back of the Disney pins, if you get like a magnifying glass, you can see if you see anything that says cast member, limited edition, they're numbered. Look those up because they are going to probably bring a premium. Not all the time, but those are the ones that are going to probably hold the most value on there. And also too, you can tell on the back of a pin, like you'll see like a cheap plastic like backing on them, but then there's ones that have like high end like clips. I don't have one in front of me here, but they have like high end clips that you can just tell like, hey, this is the quality of this one's a lot better. You can do by the feel of them, and I would definitely look those up. But just and once you start going through, and also too, I'll tell you, Google Image is going to be your best friend.
Yeah.
All right, so we are past 10 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah,
there's Scott.
There it
There's
is.
one. There's the one I'm looking for. So you see like special backings like that.
Yeah.
You know, like so.
You are Vanna.
So one of the things that you can watch
Johnny
for
on
on
the
pins is, and I put this in a recent video, with pins, a lot of times your service pins, if they're 10 years and under, they're probably not of any value at all. But if you see 30, 40, and 50-year pins, a lot of those will be precious metals.
All right. It is after 10. I wanted to put this up here. I meant to put it up here earlier. Mike and Mitzi, this is a great idea that I probably should do because I am hot-headed. They said they use ChatGPT to generate professional responses for difficult questions, challenging buyers, and problematic situations. So it takes, if you don't know, ChatGPT is free. It's AI. You can tell it, generate a response for this question, copy the question, and it will type it for you. And that takes the I haven't even thought of that. I definitely need to think about it and I'm good. I know I write stuff sometimes and erase it. I'm pretty good about not sending it, but this is a great idea. So I wanted to finish out with that, and we will let Scott and Miss Katherine tell you goodbye and what they have going on, and then Rod and I will. So here's Scott.
I don't know. I'm just making videos and working.
Scott.
Yeah. What?
I forgot. So I'm hitting you again. They said that congrats on 60K. And what do you think is the one thing you're doing that you feel is helping to build your subscribers?
So that's a good thing to end on. So yeah, I hit 60,000 like 2 days ago, and but I really don't know why people watch. I think that I have a lot of videos geared towards brand new resellers. And so a lot of those people will subscribe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming back, because this isn't for everybody. eBay is more work than people think. So even though the subscriber count may be going up, it doesn't mean that they're all coming back to watch every week. But again, it doesn't change my goal. The whole goal behind YouTube for us, because it isn't something I ever wanted to do, is I really loved teaching. Like, I loved being in the classroom, and this gives me some of that. And my goal is, and I've shared it on my channel, and we've probably talked about it on here to some extent, is, I had a pretty unconventional childhood where, help and hope were in short supply. And if I can provide that to somebody, and I feel like I get a chance to do that, then, like, man, that's worth more than what we give up from not doing eBay. So I truly feel, I feel genuinely blessed to get to teach again. And so that's what my videos are going to continue to be, even if they're not wildly profitable. I'm really lucky to get to do this. So I don't know. Is that an ending?
Yeah, that's a good ending.
Great answer.
All right, here's Katherine.
Well, I have to say, Scott, I remember when I first saw your channel and first saw you came on to Fatbird Finds Flippin' and Sippin', and you were just so fun and so engaging, and your channel is exactly that. So congratulations to you. My channel is almost at 7,000. I'm really excited about that. And here's the thing, right? Like, my channel does the goals that I need it to do. My last live YouTube sale was over $1,200. So even though my channel's smaller, my goals are being met by my channel. So please always remember that. And please, I'm a big, like, keeping up with the Joneses person, I have to admit. I constantly think I'm not doing well enough. But just remember that, like, your channel meets your goals. So even if it's that 100 views or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind. But anyways, congratulations, Scott. I just love your content. And then for me, please join me this Friday. I am having a vintage live sale with a good friend of mine. This is another one of those networking things. Somebody I met through YouTube, somebody I went to Bangor, Maine and visited and became friends with. I am having a live sale with Jody Renshaw. She has done great stuff on Whatnot. She used to do a lot of YouTube sales and such. And she is coming on my channel. So that's one of those like network things. So if you love vintage, I sell the vintage goodies, the oldie things. That's my specialty. I'd love to have you come on over. And especially this crowd, if you haven't seen a YouTube live sale before, just come and lurk. Come and see how they work.
Perfect. Rod, what's going on, friend?
I dropped a new video today. Go watch it. It's when I go to the 100-mile sale up in Virginia. It's not doing very well, so go watch it. That's what we're talking about, the motion roller coaster. Okay, guys. But now tomorrow I'll drop a new video on my flipping and punching channel, so go check that one out. I made a massive shipping mistake, and for those that like to see me fail, that's a good video to go watch tomorrow. So.
All right. I put out a video on catch treasure hunting just a little bit before this. Myself, Marcia, and Elena, I saw Elena in the chat earlier, went to 50% off at the thrift store. I got a lot. I made hundreds in profit. It was a really, really good thrift trip. And tomorrow at 2 p.m. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, we are doing Shop the Shed live. And if you see, I just bought a collection. Here I go again. Over 50 salt and pepper shakers, vintage.
Nice.
Some really good milk glass. I can't help it. And we also have some really, really amazing paperweights, both glass and resin acrylic, like lucite type paperweights. So we'll have those. We have a lot of stuff laid out for Shop the Shed tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then Thursday night, I am doing a sterling silver sale. I believe that one's at 7 p.m. Eastern. And everything's starting at $5 and $10, including gold and diamonds, guys. I'm starting gold at $10. And I might do another sterling sale later in the week. I'm not sure yet, but I will also have a video out on here. But make sure you follow me on Whatnot. I've been selling a lot of my sterling lower than cost because I am pulling like the $200 items. So I'm providing it for less. Look, Kat does work too hard, but my Shop the Shed will be following my massage that I'm going to get. So Kat can relax hard too. And I've been going to like 5 million baseball games.
No, you're nuts.
I love going and Dalton likes going, but now that his cousin went, he's going to think I need to bring everybody with us every time. But, so we'll have like a whole crowd. But one of his friends from school messaged and his mom said, if you want to take him, and Dalton would love that. So now I might have 2 little boys going with me, which is okay because I love seeing them have fun. Like that's the more exciting part for me is watching the kids' reaction, to the baseball game and getting excited. Dalton is embarrassed, so I'm not allowed to clap and get loud when it tells me to, and he like tells me to stop, and so I have to do it louder. So maybe his friend will want to do it, and I can get him to. So thank you, Scott. Again, congrats on 60K. Captain Jack Sparrow, thank you for coming. Catherine, you too. Rod, thank you for showing up again. I appreciate you. Thank you all for coming. We are here every Tuesday, and Kat was bad and didn't look. Hold on, I'm looking. Let's tell you who's going to be here next week. Rod, do you know?
Nope.
It's okay. I got it.
It's a mystery.
Oh, Golden State Picker and Amber resells. Amber hasn't been on since she had her baby. So super excited to have Amber and Mike on with us. So it'll be a great show next week. We will see you guys next week. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.